happy to have you here. Thanks for joining me today. Today's video is going to be about sleep talk. What is sleep talk? So I'm Dorit Shoshani, and today we're going to discuss what does it mean to have sleep talk in our homes? What does that look like? What does that sound like? And what can that convey moving forwards? So let's first dive into what is sleep talk. Sleep talk is the way that we come across to our children around the topic of sleep. And now I recognize that sleep is sometimes very scary. Sometimes it's just very, very bumpy. And so it creates a little bit of an unease inside of us. And when we speak to our children pick up on our energy. They pick up on our vibe, kind of on the messages that we're giving that are underlying, not necessarily the words that we say. So we want to make sure that we're conveying confidence around sleep, pleasure around sleep, this kind of yummy, cozy feeling around going to sleep and being able to sleep. We want to make sure that we are relaying information that is then perceived as something that, that sounds good. I want to have some of that. And not the other way around. Okay? So sleep, in my mind, I have some words that I use in my home around sleep. Cozy is obviously a big one. Delicious. Sleep is delicious. We have yummy sheets. We have warm, hot, cozy experiences with our bedding when it comes out of the dryer. We discuss that. We emphasize that. We kind of imagine in our mind what it's going to feel like to sleep in our bed that night. We really want to convey the deliciousness and the pampering of the sleep experience we're going to have. And that way, our children start to view sleep through that lens. Okay? We also can talk about what we're wearing. So I got some new PJs today. You guys got some new PJs today. We're so excited to wear our pajamas. It's going to be so fun to be with our new PJs in bed. You can really create a certain excitement around sleep if you know the way that you want to talk about it. And remembering that our children are constantly watching us. Our children are like little radars, I like to think. And so they're watching. Kind of, if I come home with a new set of pajamas, you better believe everybody's going to know about it. Or if I just wash sheets in the house, everybody knows about it. Okay, another important aspect of sleep talk is that we value the sleep, right? So we're not just talking about things that are going to be fun or things that are going to be yummy or cozy or delicious. We're also talking about the setting. So when we get up in the morning, the first thing I do is make my bed. My husband actually laughs at me. He says, "You're the only person I know who doesn't go pee first." The first thing I'll do is make my bed. Maybe it's a bit weird, but I just love the way that my bed looks when it's fixed. And I want it to look very inviting. And I love walking past it when it looks like it's all made. I feel like my bed is like a bed for a queen. And my kids know that. We even discuss, like, when they come home from school, if I'm in my bedroom and they want to talk to me and they just like all of a sudden want to sit on the bed, they know, they're like, "Oh, I'm not going to sit on the bed with my dirty clothes, Mom." It's to that point. We don't sit on our beds with dirty clothes. We don't get in our beds before we've had a shower. We value the space. We really, really value that experience. And it's something we look forward to. And so when my children have friends who come over to play, I actually can overhear them saying, "Wait, no, don't sit on my bed because you didn't shower." And so they'll find a place to sit on the carpet or they'll pick a different room. But it has really become ingrained in my family's minds that sleep, bedding, beds, that whole experience is something to be valued and cherished. So I want to give you some examples of how we talk sleep in my home still. So when the kids were younger, of course, we always were talking about deliciousness and coziness and PJs and bedding and all of that great stuff. And we still do that a little bit today, especially with my younger one. But with my older kids, I have a daughter who's already married and moved out of the house. So, sleep for her is different than it would be for a younger kid. But we still speak sleep. So I would ask her, for example, I would say, "You know what, sweetie, are you going out tonight?" Just a simple question. And she will look at me and say, "I think I'm going to stay home because I was out last night and so I didn't get enough sleep. So I think it's not wise for me to go out tonight." And I'm like, wow, how did you know that? She is so in tune with her body because we've been speaking sleep for years. So they know how to recognize how it feels. They can reflect on their own selves, whether or not it was good for them or not. And let's just say she was to go out 2 nights in a row and then she would come home run down. I would say to her, how does that feel for you? And then she would say, actually, it doesn't feel so good. I feel tired, or my appetite's off, and then I would ask her, so, what are you going to do about that? And she'll say it to me, I'm going to go to bed early tonight. I'm going to make sure I get enough sleep. So you create an awareness around our needs when you discuss sleep. It's like everybody can then internalize how that feels for them. And really how something feels for us is really what we want to do as parents. We want to convey to our children the ability to be able to reflect how certain experiences feel for them so that they have agency over the subject. So you don't have to go to sleep because I say you have to go to sleep. You go to sleep because you know that you're going to feel your best self when you go to sleep. And of course, that's not going to come up for a 2-year-old. But if you already instill these habits, you are creating a situation where your children will be able to reflect on how it makes them feel. And then they decide to take charge of how much they're sleeping, when they're sleeping, where they're sleeping, because it's important to them. So now I want to tell you a fun story. I think it's a fun story. My daughter doesn't think it's so fun. But I would like to share a story so that you can see how sleep talk has completely transformed my children's minds around their sleep experience. So my 2 girls are 20 and 22 years old today. And last year, my second daughter was home from the Army, and we were hanging out on Saturday as a family, and we were bringing out photo albums. And she looked at me and she said, oh, Mom, can you go upstairs and find the photo of our princess room and our princess beds? And I said to her, yeah, I think I can. And so I ran upstairs and I pulled out some photo albums until I found the right album of their room from when they were younger. And I brought it downstairs and we were all kind of gathered around the photo album, like, turning pages. She's like turning pages vigorously, trying to find her princess room. And she literally passed it up. And I said to her, wait, Maya, go back. You passed up your princess room. And she flips back and then she flips forward again. And she's like, no, I didn't find it. And I said, no, flip back again. Here it is. Here's your princess room. And her face dropped. Her face dropped. She goes, this is not the princess room, Mom. This is just the room. This is the other room. But where's the princess room? I'm talking about the princess room. And she kept saying it like she was expecting to see a palace. And I said to her, sweetie, this is your princess room. And these are your princess beds. And she didn't know what to do with herself. She almost got mad. She was like, Mom, why did you call this a princess room? It was not a princess room. I said, how do you remember it? And she goes, oh my God, I remember it so different. I remember that it was really a princess room. I just have these feelings, these warm, fuzzy feelings when I think about my princess room, but I definitely didn't imagine it to look like this. I remember this room, but I thought it was a different room. Because she was younger, yeah, and we've moved and we lived in the States and now we live in Israel. And so we've had a few different homes with a few different rooms. It was so powerful for me in that moment to recognize how much influence my speaking, my sleep talk had on my child's perception of where they're sleeping. And so I invite you to think about, what are you saying to your child around sleep? Because sometimes people call me up and they're like, my child, he's in his prison. And I'm like, his prison? You're calling his bed a prison? I don't know, but that would really stress me out if I was thinking that I was stuck in a prison or in a cage. We want to think about the way that we relay information to our children, because we have so much power. We have the power to make experiences yummy for our children. And I really just want to leave you with that today. I want to leave you with the awareness that the way that you speak influences the way that your child perceives the situation. And that is powerful. So think about what you're saying. Okay? Now, on another note, if you're still struggling with sleeping through the night, I invite you to check out my free guide. It's called The 3 Main Reasons Why Your Child's Still Not Sleeping Through the Night. It's got main pointers that you can easily put your focus on. It's not going to be overwhelming. I invite you to grab it. You can click on the link below and start moving towards better sleep. I'll see you next time. Thank you for being with me.